here we are making stuffed cabbage. We've got a couple of leftovers here, about 3 tablespoons of leftover khichdi rice, 3 tablespoons of boiled rice, probably half a cup of shredded chicken, some chickpeas, pepper paste. If you don't have pepper paste, that's fine too. I've got tomato ketchup mixed with a little bit of chili sauce. I've got some spices, zira, chili flakes, and some salt. So the cabbage is going to get blanched in a pot of hot water for a couple of minutes. The leaves they'll be peeled off. And in the meantime, we'll just make a mixture of all the leftovers and then stuff the blanched cabbage leaves with this mixture. So here we have a pot of hot water which is just close to boiling, and in goes our cabbage, and it will sit inside the hot water for a couple of minutes till it's slightly tender and the leaves can be removed from the whole cabbage with a little bit of ease. So there we are. While the cabbage sits in the hot water, we'll just quickly toss and mix our ingredients, the chicken, the 2 types of rice. You can add any ingredient that you have, any leftover vegetables, salads with a little bit of meat, egg, boiled, omelette, diced, fried. Throw in the spices of your choice, sauces of your choice, and you should have a good filling mix. So the fun part of home cooking, you keep inventing and reinventing your recipes. I just had this idea, so I've got some chopped cilantro over here. I'm going to add it to the filling mixture. It's going to add a good burst of freshness to it. You can use any herb that you might have handy. You could use coriander, mint, cilantro, anything that you have handy. The cabbage has been sitting in the hot boiling water for a couple of minutes now, so we'll drain the water and strain the cabbage head to take out the excess water in it. So with the cabbage a bit nice and tender, what we are going to do is we are going to remove the hard part. This you could do at the start as well before putting it in the hot water, or you could do it later like I'm doing now. So off comes the hard part. There we go. What I did do was I ran the knife around the hard part of the cabbage and I just took it off, and the leaves can come off easier now. So now I'm just going to peel off the leaves from the cabbage and let them cool and dry a bit before I can use them for the stuffing. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this hard part of the stem from each leaf, and this will help us to make nice and tidy rolls, and the leaves won't break off when we are making the rolls actually. So now we have the leaf ready for the stuffing, so we'll start with where we took off the hard part of the stem. Put in a decent amount of the filling. Now it's going to be different for each leaf because the size of each leaf is going to be different, so you just have to make your own judgment. Not to overstuff it, not to understuff it. Wrap and roll the sides and come up with a nice neat bundle of stuffed cabbage leaves. This is how it should look like. So here we have all our cabbage leaves stuffed with the stuffing that we made with leftovers. Again, the fun of home cooking, I just had an idea. I'll be steaming a few, which I already have in a steamer. I'll place this over a pot of boiling water, and the others I'm going to cook in some tomato sauce. So we'll have variety. So now we have the water hot and steaming. I'll put in the steamer with the cabbage rolls in it, put a lid on it just for a couple of minutes because all of my ingredients are already cooked. So probably about 10-15 minutes should be good. For the tomato sauce, I've got a couple of tomatoes chopped up, some onion chopped up, a pinch each of red chili powder, turmeric, cumin, ground cumin, a pinch of salt, some curry leaves. In a pan I have a cooking spoonful of oil, and I'll throw in the chopped diced onion. So the onions have now softened up. I will throw in some curry leaves, and that usually splats, which is a good sign. So this is the mixture of red chili powder, turmeric, a pinch of cumin and some salt. I've added some water so that the spices do not burn when they touch the hot oil. In goes the spice mix. A little bit of tossing, mixing, and then we'll add the tomatoes, and the sauce should be ready in about 5 to 10 minutes. The onions have now softened up, the water has reduced, and now we will add in the tomatoes. In goes the chopped tomatoes. We will let the sauce cook for a few minutes with the lid on, and we're getting close. So it's been a couple of minutes, the sauce has been simmering. Let's give it a check now. Yep, it's nice and done. It's not very runny, it's not all clogged up. I'd say just right. And now I will pick up these stuffed cabbage leaves and place them on the sauce and cook them for a couple of minutes. Remember, all our ingredients inside the cabbage leaves are already pre-cooked. If we were doing raw meat within the cabbage leaves, then we would have cooked it for a bit longer, just making sure till the meat had gone all cooked and tender. But at this point of time, with these cabbage leaves, we are nice and good for just a couple of minutes. So for the stuffed cabbage leaves are in the tomato sauce. I'll just put it on the lid for a few minutes and a final steam. A check to the ones that have been steaming over a pot of hot water. Wow, I'm actually happy with the results. They look nice and cooked and still within the rolled up cabbage leaves. I like it, cool. So now we will take out the steamed stuffed cabbage rolls and plate them out. So I've worked a little miracle and I've been able to transfer the cabbage rolls from the steaming pot using this flat spoon. Here they are sitting on the serving plate, and I will garnish them with some dried mint. Totally optional. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. But it looks good, it tastes good, so might as well. There we are, folks. Steamed, stuffed cabbage leaves. So the cabbage rolls cooking in the tomato sauce are nice and done. I have removed them from the stove. Nice steam leaving the pan, and that's how they look like. And I will try to not break them as I shift them to the serving plate. So now I have the cabbage rolls out from the cooking pan onto the serving plate. Just a little bit of garnish with dried mint. Again, it looks good, it tastes good. And some freshly chopped cilantro. And we are ready with our dish of stuffed cabbage leaves with leftovers in a tomato sauce. Enjoy.